Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Camera Andy Does the Steam Summer Sales for June 19th to June 30th. Today is June 20th, the second day of the Steam sales. Now, just a quick caveat that all opinions in this video are just that, opinions. If you buy a game and you don't like it, and you did it because I suggested it, it's not my fault. You should always go and check out other gaming videos, other reviews. Do your research about a game before you buy it, just in case you absolutely detest it. And another note, that all the games are not put in any order. They are just straight from the Steam page as I see them. And as we know, Steam likes to randomly jumble them up sometimes. So without further ado, let's get on to the first game. And that would be State of Decay, down 75% from $14.99 to £3.74. It is an interesting little zombie survival sim in which you play a series of people. You can swap out between them, but usually you only play as one person. And you have to attempt to manage a survivor's camp. And it is very interesting in that respect because you are attempting to balance dwindling resources, people's feelings about what's happening outside, people's personality quirks, like somebody could be an alcoholic and he is causing trouble, and you have to attempt to sort that out, whilst at the same time trying to survive the zombie apocalypse and trying to save as many of them as you can. The next game that I can suggest is Prison Architect, down 66% from $19.99 down to $6.79. This is an interesting game because it has stirred up quite a lot of discussion about the idea of prisons and prison construction and what that does to people. Now, in the game, you play as a prison warden. You have to attempt to design a prison and house prisoners who attempt to tunnel out, who will attempt to escape, who will start fights, who will attempt to murder some of your guards. It's a very deep game about managing the prison, and it's in a beta stage right now, but they are constantly adding things to the game. They are constantly improving on things that they have planned, and it's something that at first I was like, I'm not going to give money because it's early access, but then I saw that they were adding so much stuff, that they were constantly developing the game, that I just thought, do you know what, let's give them a bit of money and we can enjoy making a prison and trying to be as nice to the prisoners as possible, making them a little prison heaven. And the next game that I can suggest is Dev Tycoon, down 60% from $6.99 down to £2.79. I can suggest this one. Some of the game's mechanics are hidden behind sliders. It's the only thing that I could say against the game, is that it doesn't have the right amount of transparency that it requires for you to actually get really good at the game. However, it's doing that so that it is muddy, it is murky. You don't know what's going to make a good game. You don't know, like, having one slider slightly higher than the other one is going to make a good game. It's all about the uncertainty of making a game and the finickiness of the audience of games and them saying they want something but then they don't want something. You could see it as looking at that and trying to critique that. Outside of that, I think that it is a very well presented game, that it looks really nice, that a lot of the things that it's doing are really good. You can look at it and be worried that it's going to be like a Facebook game, especially, with its time sliders and things like that, where it's saying it will take a certain length of time for a game to be made. However, that's not the case. There are no messy microtransactions. There are no 6-month waiting period before your game is made. Everything happens very quickly. You can develop several games in the span of an hour. It is a really good game and very interesting, mechanically driven game. The next game that I can suggest is Amnesia, a machine for pigs, 75% off, taking it from £13.49 down to £3.37. Now, Amnesia is a great series. It's an absolutely fantastic series. Amnesia, a machine for pigs is the lesser one in the series. Now that sounds like I'm really being hard on it. I'm not, because it had to follow Amnesia: A Dark Descent. That game was everything that a horror game should have been. And unfortunately, Amnesia: A Machine for Pigs doesn't do the horror quite as well. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't get the game, because if you're already on Amnesia: The Dark Descent and we're on the fence about picking up A Machine for Pigs, it is very good. It's just no Amnesia: The Dark Descent, unfortunately, which on Steam is currently 80% off, taking it from £13.49 to £2.69. Or you can pick them both up in an 80% off bundle, which takes it from £23.99 down to £4.79, saving you £1.27. Now, the game that I can suggest without a single moment of hesitation is Telltale's The Walking Dead Season 2, which is 50% off, taking it from $18.99 down to £9.42. It's a fantastic game. If you ever want to see a game that takes one medium and translates it to another one, this is the one that you want to see. On that, it is not as good as The Walking Dead Season 1. Season 1 is, in my opinion, like a masterpiece of storytelling. You care about the characters, you get upset when you upset some of the characters become your moral compasses. It's an absolutely fantastic game. You can pick that up at 75% off, $18.99 down to £4.72, and it's just fantastic. I can't suggest either of them highly enough. The Walking Dead Season 2 is a great game. Again, like Amnesia: A Machine for Pigs, it had to follow an absolutely cracking first one. And that does it for the daily deals. Now on to the flash sales, which happen every 8 hours. The only game that I can really talk about in the flash sales is Mount & Blade Warband. 80% off, taking it from $14.99 all the way down to $2.99. That is an absolutely fantastic deal for the flash sale. Well worth the money. The amount of hours you'll sink into it is just, you won't even understand. If you've ever wanted to play a game where you play as a medieval knight, warrior, trader, rogue, murderer, whatever you want to do, you can do it in Mount & Blade Warband. It's absolutely fantastic. Also, the modding scene for this game, cracking. You can find a mod for pretty much anything. Lord of the Rings, it's got it. Game of Thrones, got it. Warhammer, it's being made. They even have mods that expand on the realism of the game by adding the ability to start a town and run your own town. Diplomacy is enhanced, marriages are enhanced, everything is enhanced through these mods. It is a cracking game that has a cracking mod scene. And the community choice previous winner was the underrated FPSs, which again I can only talk about one of them because it's the one that I played, which is Rage, which is 75% off, taking it from $12.99 all the way down to £3.24. It is an interesting game. I enjoyed it visually. I felt like it looked absolutely beautiful. It looked really nice. However, I felt like the gameplay didn't draw me in quite as much. The story didn't draw me in quite as much. I feel like I was a little bit let down by it gameplay wise, but it's a visually stunning game. Can I suggest it for £3.24? I could pretty much suggest anything. You could pick up any game for £3.24 and you'd be okay. So, for £3.24, you could do worse things. And the games that you have to choose from for the next community choice are puzzle platformers, which include The Bridge, Thomas Was Alone, Teslagrad, and Stick It to the Man, or Sci-Fi Cyberpunk, which has Divine Cybermancy, Frozen Synapse, Shadowrun Returns, and Master Reboot. I'm going to be going for the Sci-Fi Cyberpunk because I really want to get Shadowrun Returns at 75% off, taking it down to £2.75. And as always, you can find yesterday's big deals down below where you can pick up things that you may have missed out on. So I've been Andy, you've been awesome. If you picked up any of the games in today's video or even in the deals, let me know in the comment section down below and let me know any stories that you've got from any of the games. I'd especially love to hear any stories you got from Mount & Blade Warband. I would love to hear the crazy things that might happen to you in that game. And even State of Decay, because that's another open world game where stories are created by the player and not by the developer. So I've been Andy, you've been awesome, thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you tomorrow for the next set of deals, which I am hella excited for. Goodbye.